You know, it's incredibly strange that Tim Ryan hasn't already dropped out because Tulsi Gabbard had so thoroughly annihilated him at the first debate that he actually had to put out a statement. The only other candidate who had to put out a statement after having such a poor debate performance that they had to further explain their position was Joe Biden after Kamala Harris pounced on him. But Tim Ryan had to do the same thing, and his statement didn't make him look any better. In fact, it only made him look worse because he tried to attack Tulsi Gabbard. So for whatever reason, he hasn't dropped out yet, even though there's been no movement for his campaign, and he sparred with someone else. And unfortunately for him, you know, the low light for him was the standout moment. It was the highlight for a different candidate. And this time, it was Bernie Sanders, because Tim Ryan tried to challenge Bernie in Bernie Sanders' own turf, which is always tricky territory, right? You want to try to stay in your lane, and if you're going to challenge a candidate, you've got to make sure that you know what you're talking about. Tim Ryan did not come prepared. Bernie Sanders was talking about the benefits that would be provided in Medicare for All. Tim Ryan tried to challenge Bernie on that and basically insinuate, I guess, that Bernie Sanders was lying about Medicare for All or didn't know what was in his own bill. So this became the moment that everyone talked about when Bernie Sanders responded to Tim Ryan's nonsense.
If Medicare for All is enacted, there are more than 600,000 union members here in Michigan who would be forced to give up their private health care plans. Now, I understand that it would provide universal coverage, but can you guarantee those union members that the benefits under Medicare for All will be as good as the benefits that their representatives, their union reps, fought hard to negotiate?
Well, two things. They will be better because Medicare for All is comprehensive. It covers all health care needs for senior citizens. It will finally include dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses.
But you don't know
Second
that.
of all,
you don't know that,
second
Bernie.
of all,
We'll come to you in a second,
I do know, and
Congressman.
I wrote the damn bill. Second of all, many of our union brothers and sisters, nobody more pro-union than me up here, are now paying high deductibles and co-payments. And when we do Medicare for All, instead of having the company putting money into health care, they can get decent wage increases, which they're not getting today.
Jesus Christ. Look, if Bernie Sanders put "I wrote the damn bill" on t-shirts, he would probably sell millions. And I don't know what Tim Ryan was thinking. He has face planted now at 2 out of 2 debates. What are you thinking? You're saying you don't know what Medicare for All will be like when he wrote the bill. I mean, I don't understand. What were you thinking? This is baffling to me. This is weird. This is incredibly weird. Because if you're Tim Ryan, you know, you don't want to try to argue against the specifics of Medicare for All. And for the most part, he spoke, you know, in vague generalities about it, and he used the same right-wing health industry talking points that the other centrists used. But he tried to step up to Bernie about the details of his own bill. I mean, who does that? Why would you do that? That's a fool's game. And, you know, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And unfortunately for Tim Ryan, he got embarrassed again. I mean, his entire career has been an embarrassment. First of all, a few years ago, he tried to challenge Pelosi, you know, and become the new speaker. And nobody likes Pelosi, but guess what he tried to do? He tried to challenge her from her right, from Pelosi's right, if you can imagine. He then sparred with Tulsi Gabbard, came out badly damaged, made matters worse by trying to smear her afterwards as an Assad apologist. And now he tried to contend that Bernie Sanders doesn't know the specifics about his own bill. Wow, what a failure. Imagine how badly he would perform against Donald Trump. Like, I get that Tulsi and Bernie are just better at debating than him, but he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. This is embarrassing. What are you doing? Now, here's one of the weirdest things about Tim Ryan. He actually co-sponsored Pramila Jayapal's Medicare for All bill, and that bill actually goes further than Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. It has a quicker rollout, and now he's talking on the debate stage about how horrible it is. This is what he said about Medicare for All.
Now, in this discussion already tonight, we've talked about taking private health insurance away from union members in the industrial Midwest. We've talked about decriminalizing the border, and we've talked about giving free health care to undocumented workers when so many Americans are struggling to pay for their health care. I, quite frankly, don't think that that is an agenda that we can move forward on and win. We've got to talk about the working class issues, the people that take a shower after work who haven't had a raise in 30 years. If we focus on them, we'll win the election.
Thank you, Congressman.
So he was saying that about a bill that he co-sponsors. So I don't understand him. Politically speaking, he has absolutely no strategy whatsoever. He has no idea what he's doing. It's like he's going into these debates with a blindfold without doing any research, not doing any opposition research, not formulating arguments that he might use and trying to anticipate how they're going to respond. He's just a loser. And look at some of the things he said here. So he hit Bernie Sanders for wanting to give free healthcare to undocumented workers when so many Americans are struggling to pay for their healthcare. Right, but Bernie wants to give everyone healthcare. And you apparently don't, or maybe you do because you co-sponsor Medicare for All. But basically what he's saying here is, I don't think we should be giving healthcare to undocumented immigrants. Okay, we'll just admit that you're a bad person. Because what does that mean? Well, in the event you are an undocumented American and you get in an accident and you're bleeding out, do you just say, sorry, we don't offer healthcare to you, so die? I mean, if you honestly believe that, then you've dehumanized people to the extent where I can't help but think you're just like Donald Trump. Because that's his thing. He dehumanizes human beings. So are you going to do that too? I mean, if I had to guess, I would say there's no way he's going to qualify for the September debate. That's when the qualifications become a lot more stringent. And the fact that he was here already when he should have dropped out, it shows that this guy is a narcissist. Dude, give it a rest. You're not going to become president. You've been annihilated at 2 out of 2 debates. It's time to give up on your dream of becoming president. You don't know what you're talking about. He pretends to be a guy who's for the working class. We're going to talk about these kitchen table issues. But which lane are you in? Are you a centrist or are you in that kitchen table issue lane? Because that's the lane that Bernie and Elizabeth Warren carved out. So he's trying to have, a foot in each camp. He's struggling, and it's embarrassing to watch. Embarrassing. So he's got to drop out.